A user writes, is it Elohim or Yahuwah?
So Yud-Kei-Vav-Kei is not mentioned at all in Genesis. This is a very important distinction because the version of the Bible that we have is entirely corrupted. There's not a single, you guys are going to be blown away by this. There's not a single Bible in English that has what is truly written in it. I can tell you this because all of the Bibles that we have are based off of the Septuagint. And our sages tell us in the Talmud that, so for those of you who give you background for Septuagint, what is Septuagint? Septuagint means the 70, and it basically refers to the 70 elders that were kind of gathered and under pain of death under the rule of Ptolemy, who was one of Alexander's generals over there in Egypt when he took that place over, demanded that the Torah scroll be translated into Greek. Okay, so they got together and under pain of death created the Septuagint, which is just the Torah, not the Old Testament. All that other nonsense in Greek, that didn't exist, just the first 5 books. But in order to discern who was real and who wasn't real, they altered a couple of things, and these alterations are actually mentioned by our sages in the Talmud explicitly. And here's a couple of the things that they changed. First off, anyone who's read the Hebrew would know that 70 souls enter Yaakov into Mitzrayim, into Egypt, right? This is when we read the beginning of Exodus or Shemus. 70 souls enter with Yaakov. However, they changed that number in the Septuagint. And this same error appears in the Christians' New Testament, because in their, I want to say it's the book of Acts, one of the followers over there makes this quote, and he cites the wrong number of souls that entered into Egypt, telling you that 1, he didn't know Hebrew, 2, he really wasn't a Jew in the sense of Judaism and of the ancient Hebrew lineage, that he was one of these Alexandrian Greek Jews, and he studied the Septuagint, which had this error intentionally put into it in order so that they could differentiate who was real and who wasn't real. So obviously he quotes the wrong number of souls that go into Egypt, and this is in the New Testament. But nonetheless, one of the things that they change, another thing that they change, is the reading of the first verse, where it says, Bereshit bara Elohim. It literally reads, in the beginning created Elohim, right? But they changed the wording for the Septuagint reading so that it says, in the beginning Elohim bara. In the beginning, God created. And to this day, every Bible you open up will say, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. But that's not what the Hebrew says at all. The Hebrew says, Bereshit bara Elohim. In the beginning was created Elohim, insinuating God was created, or Elohim was created. And that's problematic, which is exactly why the Septuagint changed. 1, to keep away those mysteries, and 2, as they lightly argue, to prevent heretical understandings. Nonetheless, that secret of Bereshit bara Elohim still persists inside of the deep echelons or the high echelons within the Kabbalah. And it certainly is that way. So any Torah scroll is going to read Bereshit bara Elohim. But the Septuagint is corrupted. And so the version of the Bible you all read is also corrupted. And what's that app that I had a friend telling me about it? Bible Hub. He tried showing me something from Bible Hub. That thing's also entirely corrupted. If you look at the very first verse, for example, the first pasuk that I mentioned, Genesis 1:1, it's entirely corrupted. They've actually changed the Hebrew to match their nonsense translations. So it's entirely and utterly unreliable. I absolutely would avoid that at all costs.